Hey, it's Dr. Jensen with CCJ3701 Research Methods in Criminology. Well, first, can I say to you, congratulations for surviving the first half of this class. This is a difficult class, one of the most difficult ones in the major. It's 4 credits with lots of labs, learning a highly technical skill in a software you may have very little experience in. So good job. You deserve congratulations and reward, right? You've done all kinds of stuff. So think about for a moment where you're at. So week 1, we were just learning about principles of research, learning about surveys, learning about sampling and variables, learning about data, starting to use data for the first time. You now know how to recode variables and reorganize them in ways that lend themselves to different kinds of analyses. You know about nominal and ordinal and interval ratio kinds of information you get in data. You have all kinds of techniques to write conditions. You can build a scale or a summation. You can shove stuff together. You can pull stuff apart. I mean, you have a lot of skills now, and that's incredible. So I've taught 600 students how to do this, and this is definitely a challenging class. I mean, I've had students that have had little or no statistical background, little or no experience in SPSS, end up doing great and end up doing even better than passing. They ended up acing the class. Okay, so it's very possible. I don't want you to get discouraged if you've struggled along the way. In fact, if you have struggled, that's a good thing. I can't tell you how many times I've recoded something wrong, or I used the wrong variable, I lost all my work because the program closed, and I was devastated. I can't tell you how often that happened, how many mistakes I made interpreting statistics, how much confusion I had over what stuff meant. That happened all the time. So that's normal. You're supposed to make mistakes when you learn. You can't really learn if you don't do things right and things wrong. You're going to have your weeks that are good and your weeks that aren't so good. So the purpose of this video is to just, talk with you face to face about how things are going, to congratulate you on all the progress you've made, and also to help you prepare for what's coming up. So you're going to notice a little bit of a shift in the class. So we're going to be wrapping up our last few labs, where you're not going to be doing lab work so much anymore. After teaching this class for 7 years, I've learned that at one point in the semester, I need to leave you alone so you can actually write, so you can start working on your data and give you time to do all that stuff. You don't need more labs from me. You need time. So once we finish up our labs and you're fully trained on every statistic you need to know, on every way to code a variable you need to know, you're done. You're trained. The next half of the class is about taking all that training and skills and applying it to your research topic and your research paper. Okay? So you'll notice we shift away from labs because you don't really need the practice anymore. You've recoded lots of stuff. And we now start moving into projects, or basically writing up pieces and sections of your research paper so you can get some things drafted along the way, have a chance to get some feedback from myself and from the graduate teaching assistants to improve things, correct things, so that you can have a strong project to turn in the end and get things corrected and score as high as you can. So we have lots to do, so that's why I need to free up your time and get you away from labs and get you into your paper. So you're going to notice most of your assignments now have to do with things like writing an abstract on your topic, designing some descriptive tables on the variables you're going to use, actually choosing a data set that's going to have your topics inside it that you can analyze, running some statistics and drafting up some results of what those statistics mean, writing up a methods section to show me how you coded your variables and how your data was collected, then writing up a discussion of everything you learned and a conclusion of what to do next. So I'm very methodical in how I do your labs and how I teach this course. So you'll notice in the labs, often I'll ask you to identify variables, to tell me what they are about, to describe how you coded it, to write down the coding scheme, to tell me what you now know with it, and then run some statistics with maybe a variable you just recoded or created. The reason I'm doing that is how we do research. So you will have to write notes about what changes you make to data and variables, because all that writing has to go in your methods section of your paper. I will ask you to write up your statistics in your results using statistical language and kind of plain English substantive language, because that's how we write up results sections. So everything we've done in the class, in labs and in assignments, was all practice for the kind of writing and the kind of activities you're going to be doing on your paper. So that way you're familiar with doing those kinds of things. So hopefully you find the next few weeks useful in getting some drafts of sections created, and you can get some feedback along the way and essentially get some time in getting these things wrapped up. So that's something I'll be working on very closely with you. Let me know how else I can be helpful. I have all kinds of videos that coach you and prompt you on how to get started, things you should be looking for to plan, and hopefully you find that useful. So we'll see you next time, and be prepared to shift a little bit in the class, but hopefully have a workload that's changed that feels a little easier, a little bit different. So we're kind of on the downhill slide now. All right, we'll see you soon.